Welcome back. Walmart beating analysts' expectations with its fourth quarter earnings today. The discount retailer is cashing in as consumers trade down. But is that trend here to stay, or should investors plan ahead for a retail rebound? Discussing that issue now is Howard Davidowitz. He's chairman of Davidowitz and Associates, and Eric Beater, retail analyst with Breen, Murray, Correa and Company. Good to have you on the program, gentlemen. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, Eric, how long is it going to take for consumers, once we do get out of this, to change their buying patterns and not necessarily look only for value, which, of course, is what they seem to be doing today?
Yeah, I think we have a situation right now where the consumer is kind of shell-shocked. They see this tremendous bad news throughout, and really, from people making $10 million to making $10,000, they're pulling back in their spending. You know, this is not historically what happens here, and I think that we need the consumer to really, when they can take a deep breath, feel confident about their jobs, they're going to start trading up again. But in the short term, without a doubt right now, if it's cheap and you can find a substitute for it, you're going to do it.
Yeah, but Howard, I mean, isn't this one of those trends that doesn't come back so easily? We had on Lord Peter Mendelsohn from the UK a few minutes ago, and he said, look, and even Starbucks founder Howard Schultz said it. He said, look, this is one of those trends that is not going to reverse course just because people have a job and are feeling good again in 2 years. People will be staying with this trend for a long time to come.
Maria, it's never coming back. Living standards will never be the same. You cannot have an $8 trillion negative wealth effect from housing. You can't have a $10 trillion hit on capital markets. You can't have a bunch of insane government programs and bailouts and everything else. Nothing makes sense. The consumer knows it. It's indefinite. America will never be the same. We have trillion-dollar deficits, Maria, for 10 years.
Well, so you're saying that people are not going to be going in the spend-thrift direction anytime soon, and they'll stay with the discount retailers? Is that what you're saying?
Indefinitely. Maria, this is here to stay. Our country will never be the same. We have permanent damage to our financial system, which is in a depression, residential. It's in a depression. By the way, I think there's a 50% chance we are going into a full-scale depression. That's my view, and it's not getting fixed.
Eric, what do you say to that?
Wow, I don't know. The world's collapsed yesterday. I mean, I think that we are going to see the consumer move forward to product. I think the consumer wants to shop, and maybe they're not going to spend as much as they did before, but there will still definitely be a place here for the consumer who wants something different, who wants something unique, and will pay up a little bit more to have that. We can't all wear drab clothing and sit around and be
well, is that why Saks lost $40 million last quarter and may not survive? Is that why Neiman Marcus is losing this quarter and bonds got downgraded? Is that why Bon-Ton may not make it through the year? Is that why Dillard's may not make it through the year? Is that why Sears is not going to make it in 2 years?
Look, these
Eric,
are all
what's
very
going to
good
happen
points.
to these malls? These are the facts.
These are all very good points, but the point Eric is making is that, yeah, that is the trend right now, but people who want luxury and are willing to pay up for it will be back. You don't agree?
Maria, of course they'll be back. The problem is there'll be 10%, as many of them. We don't have Lehman anymore. We don't have Bear Stearns anymore. Our financial system, Maria, will never be the same. We've got this lunatic Dodd Amendment, totally retarded. We got all kinds of stuff going on. It's not going to be the same ever.
Well, that so-called lunatic Dodd attempt, which is what Howard is talking about, is the capping salaries at $500,000, which, by the way, is a lot of money, but obviously much lower than what some of these guys were taking home.
Look, I think at the end of the day, we are going to see the consumer pull back, and some companies won't survive, and that's a natural process in a capitalist system, especially in retailing, which is a very Darwinian system, which doesn't have huge growth, and people steal share from others. But at the same time, I do think the consumer, when they finally feel a little better themselves, is going to not just shop at dollar stores.
All right, so
they're going to sit there and look at some more fashionable players.
You're going to have 80% of the fashion players disappear. We're going to we're going to close 2,500 shopping centers this year. 2,500. Now, what are you going to do about those? When these department stores disappear, Eric, what are you going to put in those malls? We're closing. What are you going to, Eric? How are you going to fix all this stuff?
Oh boy.
How are you going to fix Saks? What are you going to do about all this?
These certainly are fundamental changes that we are talking about in this economy, and there are investable themes around them. We want to have you back for the second part of this conversation when we talk about actually how to invest around these things. Eric, Howard, good to have you on the program. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you soon, gentlemen. Thanks. Up next, a look at the stories that could move the markets tomorrow. We'll be back with a look ahead.